Page 6 and 7 notes are all about adding and subtracting fractions. I will go through these steps and show you on a couple, but then I will also show you how to do it in your calculator. If you have a different calculator, obviously the steps will be a little bit different. So if you have questions, you'll just need to ask. So first things first, when you add or subtract fractions, you need to write your mixed numbers as improper fractions. You need to find a common denominator if they don't match. So just looking at 1 and 2, notice number 1, the denominators, the bottom numbers match, and number 2, they don't. So in 2, we'll have to find a common denominator first. The biggest mistake is right here is that a lot of people want to keep the denominator or add the denominator. So in number 1, they want to get 20 for the denominator, but that is not true. You leave the denominator as is. So the denominator is going to be 10. 1 plus 3 is 4. So 4 over 10, but key here is number 5. We absolutely need to simplify. So 4 over 10, divide both by 2. 2/5 is the correct answer for that one. For number 2, 4 and 3 are not the same, so we need to make them the same number. So you want to find the smallest number that they both go into, which is 12. So I like to just write my fractions right away, showing that my denominator is 12. So then you have to ask yourself, what do I multiply by 4 in order to get 12? Well, 3. So we have to multiply by 3 and multiply by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/4 changes to 3/12. In order to change from 3 to 12, I had to multiply by 4. So then I need to take 2 times 4 to get 8/12. Again, your denominator stays exactly the same. So it's 12. 3 plus 8 is 11. So 11 out of 12. When you look at number 3, they again do not have the common denominator. So here's what you want to do. You want to look at your smaller one and think of multiples of that. So 10, 20, 15 doesn't go into 20, 30. 15 does go into 30. So we're going to make both of these 30. So in order to make 10 change to 30, I would have to multiply by 3, multiply by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. In order to make 15 30, we would have to multiply by 2. So 11 times 2 is 22. So then again, we keep the denominator the same, and we end up with 30 again for our denominator. And then 9 minus 22 is negative 13. So negative 13 out of 30. When you have a whole number, you put it over 1. So our common denominator is going to be 4. So to get from 1 to 4, I have to multiply by 4. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. And then this one doesn't change. So you don't have to change both of them sometimes. So our denominator is 4. Negative 24 minus 1 is negative 25 over 4. Or you could also have negative 6 and 1/4 as an answer as well. Now, I do want to show you that you are able, let me go down to number 7 first. So for number 7, we're going to change our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So again, ignore the negative. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So negative 19 over 8, minus 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7 over 4. They don't have common denominators, so again, you want to see, does your smaller one go into your bigger one? It does. So our denominators are going to be 8. So I'm going to leave the first fraction as exactly as it is. For 4, I had to times by 2, so 7 times 2 is 14. So then I keep my denominator 8. Negative 19 minus 14 is negative 33. So negative 33 over 8, or you could also change that into a mixed number, which is going to be negative 4 and 1/8. Either answer is fine. Now, if you have a calculator like this, you have an ABC button. that represents fractions. A lot of calculators actually have a fraction button. So if you have a button on your calculator that looks like that, you just get to push that button and it becomes a fraction. So you have to enter the top number, arrow down and enter the bottom number, and then arrow over to continue doing things over here. All right. For these calculators, you're going to push the ABC button in between your numbers. So instead of 2 divided by 9, we're going to do 2ABC 9. That little backwards L represents the fraction. Now, we should know that minus and negative is really just a plus, so you could put a plus sign. I'll go ahead and do all of it just in case. So you can do minus negative 5ABC 18. When you hit enter, it will give you the fraction in simplified form. If we did this one by hand, we would have ended up with 9 over 18. So then we would have had to simplify it. But this actually simplifies it for you. So you can just go ahead and right away put the answer of 1/2. Now, it's good to know how to do it this way and really just use the calculator as a check, but you can do it right away if you want. So for number 6, 5ABC 8 plus negative 1ABC 20. Or again, hopefully you know that's a minus sign, so you could just do subtraction. 23 out of 40. You can actually do mixed numbers this way as well. You just have to push the ABC button in between the 1 and the 5, and then again the 5 and the 6. So instead of doing improper fractions, which you could still do, you could do 1 ABC 5 ABC 6 plus 2 ABC 3 ABC 4. Now this calculator will always give it to you as a mixed number, 4 and 7/12. So that is fine. If you need an improper fraction, you hit the second button and the ABC button. So second ABC, and you can see up above how it has ABC to D over E. That's saying mixed number to improper and vice versa. So you hit second and the ABC button and then enter, and it changes it to 55 out of 12. So either answer is acceptable. There are some times that you need one or the other, so just pay attention to directions. Go ahead and try these 4 back here on your own, and then come back and check your answers. So there are the answers for 9, 10, 11, and 12. Again, for 9 and 12, you don't need both answers, just one or the other. We will also do story problems with these, so your job will be to figure out if we add or subtract, or you might have to do both. So for 13, the length of a new board is 2 5/8 feet long. If 5/6 of a foot is trimmed off, find the new length. So taken off means we subtract. So 2 5/8 minus 5/6. And it is important to write this just in case you accidentally calculate it incorrectly. So 2 5/8 minus 5/6 ends up as 1 19 out of 24. Make sure you have the label of feet, or you can just put FT if you want. For story problems, mixed numbers make a lot more sense. If you got 43 over 24, that is the correct answer, but I would like to have it as a mixed number. Number 14. During a recent 2-day snowstorm, it snowed 6 1/8 inches on the first day and 8 5/12 inches on the second day. Find the total snowfall. That means we're going to add. So 6 1/8 plus 8 5/12. So again, just write that out, and then you can use your calculators to figure out that's 14 and 13 out of 24 inches of snow. If you want to write inches of snow, you can, or you can just write inches. 14 and 13 24ths. That was 349 out of 24. So again, if this is what you got, that's correct, but please change it to a mixed number. Number 15, Natalie is baking a cake and cookies for her daughter's party. She needs 1 2/3 cup of milk for the cake and 1/2 cup of milk for the cookies. If she has 3 cups of milk total, how much will she have left? So there's 2 different ways to go about this. The first way is to add the 2 together that you're baking with. So 1 2/3 for the cake plus 1/2 for the cookies. So if you add that together, you end up with 2 1/6. So she is using 2 1/6 cups of her milk. So then you need to take what she starts with, which is 3 minus 2 1/6, to get 5/6 of a cup left for your final answer. To me, that seems like more work. So what you could do instead, I'll put it down here, is you can right away start with the 3 cups, subtract out 1 2/3 and 1/2 all at once. You can do it just like that. You also could write it out like this with the parentheses, which is essentially what we did here, just in a different order. I haven't really talked about that one yet, so if you want to do it, that's fine, but you don't have to. So you can either add first and then subtract, or you can just start with your total and subtract off all at once. So if you type that all in, you should still end up with 5/6 of a cup left.